Calagione, founder of Dogfish Head Craft Brewery, and I are often asked how we met, got the idea to recreate ancient fermented beverages based on scientific evidence, and began making them for the Ancient Ales and Spirits series at Dogfish Head Craft Brewery. I provide some of the answers to these questions in this book. Our story is still very much a work in progress. Just like an archaeological excavation, I have sorted through and analyzed the tattered remains of our species' brewing past, which are an infinitesimal fraction of what our ancestors made and drank. I have scoured the literature on alcoholic beverages, past and present. Together, Sam and I have devised and tested reasonable hypotheses of what went into an ancient drink and how it was made. We have not always agreed, but then that's to be expected. Human beings see the world through the prism of their own experiences, perceptions, and emotions. We may agree on the broad outlines of our story, but we continue to add more and sometimes quite different details. To give you one example, in the second chapter on Midas Touch, which launched us on our adventures, I recount a tear-gassing incident in a restaurant in Ankara, Turkey. In the heat and confusion of the moment, one of our filming team left a satchel full of cash on a chair. Of course, it was gone after we filed back into the restaurant. Later, when we shared stories, I had only a vague recollection of the missing pouch. Sam remembered the incident in minute detail, perhaps because of his astute business acumen. My focus is the past. Sam's is the present. Together we make great recreated beverages together. Discovering ancient fermented beverages in the field. The listener might think that reconstructing an ancient fermented beverage is straightforward. You just need to scrape out the residues inside what you believe to be an ancient beverage container, one that might have been used to make, store, serve, or drink a beer, wine, mead, or extreme beverage. More about that in Chapter 1. You lay your hands on the highest power analytical tools you can, and then test the residues. Voila! You have the answers for making a recreated fermented beverage. I wish it were that simple. That point was driven home to me as I pioneered the field of organic residue analysis in archaeology beginning in the 1980s. Despite many false starts and failed experiments, the past 30 years have been full of discoveries, including the earliest chemically attested grape wine, barley beer, chocolate wine, Theobroma, Chapter 7, and extreme fermented beverage, Chateau Jiahu, Chapter 3, from China. I started with grape wine and barley beer, whose stories are recounted in my other books, Ancient Wine and Uncorking the Past. I ended up with extreme fermented beverages, which can combine all and sundry from your environment, high-sugar fruits, honey, roots and cereals, herbs and tree resins, into a palatable and very powerful drink. They are the most challenging to my mind. I am a combination archaeologist and chemist, which is sometimes called a biomolecular archaeologist or an archaeological chemist. The process of discovering and recreating an ancient fermented beverage starts with archaeology. If you don't have the best samples you can get, the best dated, the most well-preserved, and the least contaminated, then you're wasting everyone's time and money. Well-excavated archaeological sites are the be-all and end-all. Forget about any vessels bought on the antiquities market, which could well be fakes or lack verifiable provenances. What you need are organic samples in association with other well-dated finds. You might be fortunate enough to uncover a silo of grain, a workshop for making a fermented beverage, a temple, tomb, or house where the beverage was enjoyed by everyday people, or perhaps a shrine or temple where it was served up to the gods. It's icing on the cake if your samples have not been exposed to water and oxygen, which will degrade and destroy them. Your best option is an undisturbed tomb or habitation in the desert. Intact shipwrecks which have sunk hundreds, ideally thousands, of feet to oxygen-free levels beneath the surface can also be good. Likewise,